Hi, and welcome to today's workshop on calendars and appointments in HighLevel. We'll be showing you today how you can replace Calendly for your regular meetings, online and offline. In addition, how you can manage services and even do rentals in the HighLevel calendars. So we'll see you in a minute. Today's workshop is on the calendars and appointments in HighLevel. We're focusing on how to set those up and manage those. Yep. Primarily for appointments. So that's appointments like online calls, yeah, even offline meetings. So basically replacing Calendly. And actually, I think it's a lot better than Calendly, in my personal view. But also, we'll have a look as well at how you can use the calendars for managing services uh, and even rentals. So, a service would be typically something where, for instance, if you're a photographer, yep, in order for someone to book a photography session, it would have to check that you've got a sort of studio available, the equipment available, and the photographer available. Yep. And then rentals, like say if you were renting out plant equipment or cars, for instance, it manages that process for you, even taking the payments. Is that okay, guys? Should we start? Yep. We'll make a start there. So it's trying a slightly different way today. So I'm going to share my screen now. Here we're looking at my demonstration Google Calendar. Okay, so you might be using Outlook or iCal or anything like that. But so I've got my calendar set up here, my Google Calendar, and then in HighLevel here, I'm going to go into the HighLevel account. So to find the calendars, you obviously this is a demonstration site, so I don't want to break any of my existing calendars. So I'm going to start it from scratch today. So you see a blank canvas, so to speak. So you normally log into HighLevel. This is obviously the Marketing version. If you're with a different agency or got your own agency, the colors might look different. The layer might be slightly different, but calendars obviously live in calendars. Yeah. So when you see calendars there, it effectively means Calendly in functionality. So you see, as soon as you click in here, because I've integrated it with my user account in this HighLevel, you're actually seeing it's now pulling in my Google Calendar. So it's pulling in this one here. You see, I've got this. I've just for demonstration, I put in this workshop here, and you'll see here when I'm logging here, it's marking that time in the HighLevel calendars as busy because I've already got booking in the regular calendar.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I've logged in now. So the first thing you need to do with calendar is synchronize your calendar to your user profile. So to do that, you go to settings, yeah, my profile. And when you're in your profile, only you can do this because it's got to synchronize to the calendar that's living on your computer. You see, scroll down here, and you see here, I've already come to the calendar settings, chosen the Google Calendar option, and synchronized it to the calendar. Okay, so equally, that could be, I've chosen Google Calendar in this instance, but if you're using a Microsoft Calendar, you connect it to your Microsoft Calendar, or if you're using Apple Calendar, your Apple Calendar. So I've chosen the Google one here, and you can see it's synchronized. Okay, so the first thing you'll see is you've got link calendar here and conflict calendars. Okay, so the linked calendar is your main calendar. Yeah. This is going to be where, when somebody makes a booking with you, it's going to drop into this calendar, that appointment. That's your main one here. And then we've also got conflict calendars. Okay, so a conflict calendar is you might have a second calendar set up in your calendar for holidays or personal events and things like that. So you don't want to have bookings occurring when you, for instance, are on holiday. So that would be then a conflict calendar here. Obviously, your main calendar is a conflict calendar because you don't want people to double book on you. So once the appointment is made in here, it's not going to let somebody else book a second appointment at exactly the same time with you. And here's where you set those up. So you see here, for instance, I could mark all these as conflict calendars as well. So that does that. Yep. So if someone was to book a demo in this demo calendar here, it would not let them book at all in my main calendar. Does that make sense for everybody? The conflict calendars? Yep, that's the first thing.
Yeah.
So once you've got your calendar synchronized, then you can come back to the main settings and you'll see your calendar like here. Yep. This is, as I showed you before, this is now showing my regular test Google Calendar. So now we're in the calendar settings, and now we need to set up some calendars. So a calendar in HighLevel is typically a type of meeting. So it might be a 15-minute discovery call, a 1 hour client call, or a 1 hour client visit. Yeah. So because this is a brand new account, we'll set one up and I'll guide you through how we set up the calendar appointments. So we click on calendar settings, and you'll notice here now uh, we've got meetings, services, and rentals. Okay, so you may not see all of these. Uh, you see these two are very new, especially the rentals, which is in beta still. So if you want access to the rentals at the moment, you'd have to ask your agency, or if you're a Marketing client, you can ask us, and we can enable that so you can see rentals there. So if you want to rent out TVs or pieces of equipment, then you might be interested in looking at the rentals feature. As I mentioned before, services is to do with delivering services. But most clients are using the meetings just like you would in Calendly. So that's what we'll focus on first of all. Yeah. So again, because it's a blank canvas, this account, I'm going to set up a new calendar. So click on create calendar. And you see we've got all different types of calendar we can set up. Yeah. So most people, you're looking to book one-to-one calls with prospective clients, discovery calls, things like that. Uh, class bookings. Okay. So when you booked onto this workshop, we're using a class booking calendar where you can have multiple people, you can have 100 people potentially booking onto the same event. So that's what we're using here today for this event. Uh, Round robin. Okay, so if you've got a sales team of 10 people, yeah, you want the calls coming in and distributing evenly between the sales team, you use a round robin calendar. Collective booking. Yeah. So, for instance, if we wanted to schedule calls where both Atticus and I have got to be present before a booking is made, yeah. So before someone can book a call, it's going to check my calendar. It would check Atticus's calendar to make sure we're both available to make that call. Get that one there. Yeah. Again, I've not used these ones. They're event calendars. This is for like use it for conferences, public seminars, etc., and service bookings. Again, this is for taking the service bookings we mentioned before. Yeah. Most of the time, if we're replacing Calendly, you're looking at personal bookings here. So we'll start on here. The concept, the principle is the same for all of these. Okay. So calendar name. So for me, it might be a 15-minute discovery call. The 15-minute discovery call like that. It's going to be with me. Obviously, it's just, this is just a one-to-one meeting. So it only lets calls but with me, a personal meeting. Yeah. This URL has got to be unique. So it's got to be unique in the high level world. So for instance, that particular URL has been selected by somebody else, obviously. It's 15-minute discovery call, but I can equally make that Julian, and that makes it unique now to me. So that'll be my unique link here. Yep. I'm going to make it a 15-minute call. 15 minutes, yep. And I confirm that, and it sets up the basics of the appointment. Okay, just close all that down for now. So now we've got it set up, but now we can go in and fine tune it. Okay, so now we've got it set up. So we click on the pencil, and you'll notice now we've got all these menu options to set up this appointment. So the first one is calendar logo. Okay, so you could put your company logo on there. You could do that. I personally prefer to put like a portrait headshot of yourself on there, whoever the booking's going to be with. it sort of makes it a bit more personal when someone goes to book. Yeah. I'll show you an example of one of mine to give you to show you what I mean here. Oops. So while we're on here, I just gone one step further. So I've built out like a mini micro site. So I'll give people the option to choose different types of meetings. But when you click onto, say, the 15-minute one here, the bit we're setting up today is this little square here. Yeah, so this is what we're setting up today. So you see here, I could have put a company logo on there. But I think if someone's booking a call with you, it's nice to see your picture there. Uh, and here's where the description goes here. You'll see that in a minute, your description. This is a bit we're setting up today, this little square. So there's where your logo goes or the picture of you. Here's where you put your description. Yes. Test discovery call. That's there's your description goes there. Group. There is the option to create this effect in HighLevel. So go back. So you can create a group of calls in HighLevel. So you might have I've got these four options here, but when you do it in HighLevel, the page is very, very basic with very little customization. So I don't use that group function. Me preferably, but I preferred to build my own little landing page in HighLevel and customize it exactly how I want it, like this with pictures of me and stuff. The group one in HighLevel is very plain. It didn't look great to me, so I built my own. It took me a couple of hours to do that. So that's what the group function is there, which I'm not using. The meeting invite title is really important, okay? Because that's what's going to appear in your calendar and the recipient who books a call with you, okay? So if I leave it just contact name, yeah, it will just drop in their name into my calendar, which doesn't mean much, yeah. And equally for them, if it just appears as booking in their calendar with their name in it, it doesn't tell them anything, okay? So it's really important to get that right. So what I would do something like this, put their name in there, so it's their name, then put my name in there, and then put in it, so that's something like 15 min discovery call. Let's spell it right. Okay, so when that appears in my calendar and their calendar, it's going to mean something to everybody. So I can see, obviously, I'm interested in seeing their name and they've got a discovery call booked with me, and they can see that, yeah, they've got a call booked with me on their calendar. Does that make sense, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, key on that one.
Just jumping in here. If you're finding this workshop useful about calendars and appointments in HighLevel, there's a link to Marketing below. You can sign up for 30 days for free.
Hi, so you got a question, Sue?
Yeah, I have a question specifically about the Zoom link. With Calendly, it creates a new Zoom meeting that has that meeting invite title in it. Oh, does this do the same, or does it just give you, or do you just use the same Zoom link every time?
I think it's the same Zoom link every time at the moment. Yes, yeah.
That wouldn't work for me because when each Zoom meeting needs to have the client's name in it and the word discovery call for transcript purposes, because I transcribe all my calls so they get saved into my Otter AI as with the client's name so I can search back. So if you had to feed this a single Zoom link and use the same Zoom link for every meeting, that's not going to work for me.
Oh, it's okay. Because I do similar with Fathom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Fathom works fine for me. Yeah, so
Isn't
Yeah.
there, sorry to interrupt, there's a Zoom plugin on the market to make bit somewhere where you can go to the integrations, there is a Zoom plugin. Could that not do it? Because that says it creates calendars and everything for you.
uh,
That
It
sounds
looked
like
like
it.
yeah, it looked like it was a bit unnecessary, but then when it comes to unique links, it might be worth looking into.
That is the standard way for calendar apps they integrate with Zoom and they create a new Zoom meeting for every new event. That is the standard way, and I would be surprised if it doesn't do that.
Oh, I'd have to look at myself, Sue. I've not had an issue with that, and can I come back to and check on that?
Yeah, great, thanks.
Yeah. Have you tried using Fathom rather than Otter though, Sue?
I've been using Otter for 4 years, and I'm kind of bought in.
Yeah.
I think Fathom is good, but the problem is I then have to look in two different places for my history. So I need to be
Oh.
convinced really to move over. But it is something that I want to look at in the future, actually. But also, Zoom itself does the transcribing and does, transcripts and sends you the to-do list, the action list. So which I am duplicating a bit using Otter, but yeah, a bit bought in at the moment.
I know everyone's got their own personal preference.
Yeah,
I like Fathom, and Fathom very shortly be able to do phone calls and everything with it. Meeting.
amazing,
Uh,
amazing.
imagine have your phone in the middle of the meeting and it's coming into Fathom. Yeah. But like I say, everyone's got personal preferences. But let me check on that one, Sue. I've not had the problem with Fathom transcribing them all. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it's not that the transcribing that's the problem. It's having a unique meeting name in Zoom.
I think
Yeah.
it does create a new meeting every time an
Yeah,
appointment gets booked, so it'll be a list of meetings like
that's
it
it.
usually would. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Atticus.
Yeah, the meeting name would be changed. That's what the field in the bottom right, where Julian's screen is frozen at the moment. But that's not necessarily a unique link. It depends whether you're talking about title or link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about both. I need a unique link and a unique. Well, actually, I'm talking about both. But let's see. Let's see what it does.
I'll come back to you on that one. So, we came through here, yeah. So we talked about the meeting title here, staff location. Again, it's only me on this one. Custom meeting locations where you connect your Zoom, your Google Meet, or if you're doing in-person meetings, you can put the address in there. Yeah, availability. Again, you click on here, you choose availability. So you might set it between 9 and 5 weekdays. Yeah, so you do 9 to 5 weekdays, or you might go for specific hours. You might choose you want to do a meeting on a particular day, for instance, you can do that there. You can do recurring meetings there as well if you want to do that. Booking rules here, which need a little bit of explanation. So a meeting interval. So if you've made your calendar available between 9 and 5, yeah, the meeting interval would be like it would let the recipient choose meetings at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10, 10:30, etc. That's the meeting interval. Meeting duration, that's obviously 15 minutes. Minimum scheduling notice, yeah. I like to put at least a day in there like that. I don't like it when people book on the same day. Nothing worse than going out for lunch and finding out 10 minutes later you've got a meeting. So I like to put a day in there. Some people like maybe 4 hours. So they like, in the morning, they'll let people book afternoon calls, things like that. Date range again. Do you want to let people book calls for next Christmas? Or do you want to limit to say 20? I do 21 days. Yeah. Pre and post buffer time. So if your calendar gets really busy, again, having a 10-15 minute before and after gives you a little bit of breathing space, so you're not back-to-back calls. And if one runs over slightly, you've got a bit of leeway. Uh, maximum bookings, maximum bookings per day is quite obvious. Bookings per slot is a bit more confusing, but that's more to do with, you've got a sales team, you've got 10 salespeople. At 10 a.m., you've got 10 slots for 10 a.m., that sort of thing. Look busy as well. So we were just on with a client the other day, and they were just starting out business. So they enabled this to say, look busy 50% of the time. So
That is genius. Because sometimes when I'm on a launch, I try and leave as much space as possible for discovery calls. So I clear my calendar, and then it looks like I'm not busy, which really annoys me. But this is a good feature.
Yeah, and also if you say it's only 50% availability, as bookings come in, it releases more availability. So you still got all the capacity there, it's just hidden some of it to make you look
That
busy.
is definitely a reason to move over from Calendly.
Really? Oh, really? Okay, right there. Advanced settings here. Oh, so they've just broken this, they've changed this now. So this is coming here. So you've got advanced settings, form and confirmation. So we've got a default form here. Yeah, it's capturing first name, last name, email, and notes and phone number. Yeah, you can go into sites and forms and set up your own custom form there. Yeah, so you might want to ask them, if it's discovery call, you might want to ask them some sort of qualifying type questions. So it gives you the heads up at what, when inquiry comes into you. A brand new update just the other week was you can have a custom form you build, and you can disqualify them as well. So if they don't meet the criteria, they never even get a chance to book a call with you. So you can stop the tire kickers who don't qualify, so from booking calls and taking up time on your calendar.
So what sort of criteria can you place on that?
Uh,
Have you got over 100 million in the bank?
I'll give
we,
you an
we,
example. I'll give you an example. So one of the questions that I ask, so that they appreciate that my services are actually of high value, is how much do you normally invest per year in your health? And I put little brackets. Now I don't exclude them if they only say £100 a year, but it gets them thinking, okay, do you know what I'm saying? So it's like you can use it to pre-qualify, but I use it just to get them thinking, and if it gives them a better feel for if this call is right for them, so they're kind of self-selecting.
That's a great idea. Or
yeah,
what's your budget? That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
what's your budget? Yeah.
yeah. So, but just from that update the other week, though, you can go one step further. So if they don't meet the criteria, it's just a conditional logic, Steve. Whatever you choose it to be, you can then not give them the option to book a call. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got a real case for that, because one of my clients, they do surveys for stoves, wood burning stoves, and basically the cheapest stove they sell is 1,500 quid. So, if their budget is less than 1,500 quid, there's no point in even going out to do the survey. Whereas in the past, they'd be going out and doing surveys, which is a complete waste of time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I did suggest them we might be able to have a filter here somehow, but that's useful to know.
Yeah, you do that in the custom fields then, Steve. Yeah, do that. Yeah, it's a new feature. Yeah. The next one is choose the order. So traditionally, somebody comes to your calendar, chooses a date and time first, and then fills in the form. Or you can swap it round now. You can swap it round to have the form first and that. Uh, Sticky contacts. So if you sent them an email through HighLevel, from that link, we already know certain details about their name, so you can pre-fill the form in for them with sticky contacts. The consent checkbox is an obvious one. You put in there what they've got to opt into your marketing or whatever. I always like this one, add guests. It's quite handy. Yeah. And there's options there around the guests as well now. The confirmation page is obvious. By default, that little message will appear here, or take them to a dedicated landing page on your website. Yeah. Meta pixel for your Facebook advertising, you're tracking conversions for Facebook there. I must admit, all mine are auto confirmed. So when somebody books the appointment, it's confirmed by default. Yeah, because all my meetings are on Zoom, and I can only ever choose a time where I'm free anyway. But if you were going out to their place of business on a sort of going out to a particular location, you might uncheck that. So they make the appointment booking, but then you go back and confirm, yes, I can travel to London that day or whatever you're doing. Yeah. So it gives you that little option there. As we looked at before, you can take payments for your meetings if you want to. Notifications and policies. So you can build in some automation follow-up here. Yeah, you can choose your selection section. For instance, when an appointment is booked, it can ping you on the mobile app, the appointment's been booked. Yeah, so this is great for doing the in-app stuff here. But a lot of the automation I'll do in part two, where we build a simple workflow where we can really customize the workflow. Yeah, and then you've got additional settings here. You can assign it to relevant team members, allow them to reschedule a meeting, not let them reschedule within an hour or cancel within an hour, all that sort of thing. Yeah. Widget appearance here. I just tend to leave it as it is. I just leave it as you can go and tweak those settings. And that's the basic setup. Just go through that. It's quite logical, really, when you get into it. One of the things about the calendars is you've got various levels of availability here. Okay, so the overriding calendar is your calendar on your Outlook or Google. Okay, but then within, obviously here, within the calendar itself, let's show you here, we've got another availability. Yep. So the calendar itself has availability here, Monday 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But obviously that is overridden by yours is the master calendar, your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar. You've got that calendar to consider as well. In addition to that, you've also got your user profile calendar availability. So if you look here, scroll down here, you've got this calendar as well. So there's sort of three calendars at play here at any time. And it just takes one of those to be out of sync. And suddenly you won't be able to take bookings. So if you said on this calendar here, you won't take any meetings on a Friday, yeah, you might then go and test your calendar and think, well, why can I not see any appointments on Friday? It's because one of your calendars is out of sync. So that's the thing that catches most people out. And so just be aware there could be free availabilities at any time. So you might decide, for instance, you might say, okay, I'm not going to take any meetings on Saturday or Sunday. But then sometime down the line, you decide, well, I want to do a Saturday webinar or something, and suddenly it won't let them book because of that sort of conflict you get in there. So just watch out for that one when the calendars aren't doing as you expect. Yeah. And I often say to clients, especially for our clients in Marketing, you get stuck on any calendars like that. Just go to tech support, the blue button, click on there, and those guys will sort you out straight away with any problems. Is that okay for the calendar there? Yeah. So what that does is that basically creates a calendar appointment. That's all it's doing, and dropping it into your calendar and their calendar. That's only half the picture. The other half of the picture is notifying them, notifying the person to confirm the meeting and sending all the reminders out. Okay. So you'll see here, we have got sort of settings built in here. If I go back out. As I mentioned before, if you go to the calendar setting here, where is it? Advanced settings, notifications. So we've got some settings here that let you do basic automation. Okay, so that would be like the sort of automation you'd get in Calendly. You know, they book a meeting, send them an email. Yeah, if they cancel, send them an email, whatever. So we've got the basic automation there, which I must admit, I only ever use it for the in-app ones. It's useful for the in-app notifications. But what we'll be doing is then switching over to use the automation functionality in HighLevel. So automation, because we've got much more fine control of what we can do. So if I just set up here, so the first thing I would do is I create a folder for automations and call it appointment follow-ups, something like that, appointment follow-ups. So I've got a nice folder where I can group them all together. And then here, I'm going to create a little workflow to follow up when somebody books that meeting. So I'll create a workflow. Now, what we do have, we've got some nice templates set up, and it just happens we've got a nice template that does our job here nicely for us. So you see here, if I find it, generally at the bottom, appointment confirmation and reminder workflow. Okay. So rather than starting from scratch today, I'm going to pull this one in here and walk you through how it works. Again, we do a separate workshop for workflows. Yeah, so this gives you a quick introduction to it if you're new to this. So here's my workflow. It's very like Zapier. If you ever use Zapier, yep. In this view, it's top to bottom. So the trigger in this case is when that booking is made online or in person, and it's confirmed. So click on here like this. This is my trigger. Okay. This is the appointment status. So at the moment, it's going to trigger when any appointment is booked. So I might have 10 different types of meeting, and it's going to trigger when any of those meetings is booked. Generally, though, you want to be a bit more specific. So I'm going to filter down to that appointment I just set up. So click on here. You'll see here, in calendar, the 15-minute discovery. That's what I just set up a minute ago. So this workflow is now only going to trigger when somebody books that 15-minute discovery call. Okay, so what that means is then I can customize the rest of this follow-up based around talking about that 15-minute discovery call. Yeah, it's all focused on that one purpose. So if they book a call today, or if they make a booking for a call, that will trigger the workflow. The first thing we're going to do is send them a confirmation email. Okay, there's a confirmation email. Now, because this workflow was triggered by the appointment itself, it therefore means that this workflow knows all about the appointment. It knows the date, the time, the location, i.e. the Zoom link to use, who the appointment's with. So this workflow knows all about the appointment. So this confirmation email can be personalized to that meeting. So you click on the confirmation email. Obviously, you get your from name, your from email address, your subject line. And we're just using a very plain email builder here, very simple one. But you see here, I'm merging in hi first name. Your appointment has been confirmed for, it knows the start date. So it knows the date, the time zone, yeah. So how are we able to personalize this message here? Very simply by using the custom values here. Okay, so normally when we're doing this, we'll be customizing it with the contact's first name, for instance. But because this workflow was triggered by the appointment being set, we've also got options for the appointment. So we can pull in any data that pertains to that appointment here. So you see here, I know I can drop in the start date, the start time. Yeah, I can drop in the rescheduling link. So that link is particular to this appointment. So if they click on that link, it lets them move this appointment in my calendar or their calendar as well. It also knows the assigned user, so who has been assigned to this appointment. Again, if I click on that, we go back to that again. We go into appointment, assigned user. Then again, it's giving them the full name of who this appointment has been booked with. The team member, which most likely will be yourself. Yeah, drop in your name by default, your signature from your profile. Yeah, so on your profile, if you set up your signature, it'll drop in your signature automatically. And that's how we customize the emails. Yeah, you see here, so here's the reschedule button. I find my mouse on there. If you click on there like that, you'll see behind the scenes, all it is that short code that will automatically, because it knows the appointment, it can then set the appropriate reschedule link for that appointment. So you just build out this email as you see fit. One thing that can catch you out using this template is this location here. You see this? Yeah. If you use that location like that Zoom link there, that will be wrong. It won't personalize it. So what I typically do here, you delete all that like that. Yeah, and then we would click on here like that. We'll go to the appointment in question, the appointment, meeting location, and that there will now drop in whichever channel you've chosen to do your meetings in. Typically for me, it's Zoom. But if I was using Google Meet or Teams, it'll be dropping in the appropriate link there for that meeting. Does that make sense? Okay with everyone, yeah? So once you've got that concept, so I'll just cancel that, just save that like that. Always make sure you're saving, yeah? Once we've got that, then we'll send a confirmation email straight away. Then 24 hours before the call, yeah, we want to send them a reminder. So we click on here. Okay. Now normally, when you put a wait in a workflow, it'll be something like, oh, we want to wait 2 days. Yeah, we'll send an email, then we wait 2 days for the next one. In this case, we're using a slightly different type of timer. You see here, we change it to event appointment time. Okay. So this timer now, it now knows from the appointment booking, the date and time of the meeting. So therefore, it gives us this option. So I can say, okay, 1 day before the meeting, trigger. And you'll notice here, if they were to book the meeting within a day, it would automatically skip this email. Yeah, so it only sends out the relevant emails. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if they were to book this within 8 hours, say 8 hours before the meeting, this one would ignore this first email, and it would then it'd be queued up waiting for the 1 hour before email. So again, when you go to 24-hour email, it's just a case of just customize it rather than talking about we've got an appointment booked on the XYZ day. You say we've got a call booked for tomorrow at 10 a.m. and just customize your email. Yeah. And the same thing before that. If you've got a phone number on the system, you can send a text. Just customize the text with their name. Pop in the location link. So I would put in the location link, and that would drop in the Zoom link automatically. So go to appointment. You see here meeting location, and that would then drop in the Zoom link automatically. Again, when you're sending out texts, watch out for the size of your text. Yeah, so a text in HighLevel, a segment traditionally is 160 characters. So if you write out a huge text here, you might be sending 3 or 4 texts all stitched together. It'll cost you more than the 6p or whatever the price is for your text. Yeah. And if you throw in emojis as well, that boosts, that can double the price. Just putting one emoji in there can double the cost of your texts. So watch out for that one. Yeah. So you build out your little automation. Yeah. Write down, in this case, you just choose the bits you want. If you don't want the 5-minute reminder email, I would just click on here like that and delete all actions from here. And that'll just delete those. Yeah. But the beauty about doing all this in the workflows now is we can start to add more functionality. So for instance, when somebody books a discovery call, you might want to create an opportunity in the sales pipeline. So here we click on plus and we go to opportunities. We can create or update opportunities or create opportunity like that. So we can add opportunities into the pipeline. We could put in an internal notification to ping you or any member of the team. You got a new meeting. Send an internal notification. So this could email you or your team, ping you on the mobile app. So you've got a mobile app installed, ping and let you know you've got a meeting booked. If you've got a phone number enabled or the WhatsApp enabled, then you could send WhatsApps and texts reminders. You might want to tag them to say tag them. You might want to add a note to the contact record. You know, when you go here, I mean, you've got infinite combinations of what you can do now but all based on the fact that they've just booked a call with you. Does that making sense, guys? Yeah. So that's how I would sort of you can customize your follow-up much more precise doing that. Yeah. Now to take it to another level, okay. So when you're in the calendars here, I go to calendars. you've got appointment list view. Okay, I haven't got any appointments set up here, but let me go back to my account. I'll show you mine. Let's look out here. And this can be really handy if you've got a sales team or whatever. So see my calendar now. You see it's pulling in my calendar a bit more in there. But appointment list view here. So you can see all the appointments you've got booked here. Okay. So if you've got 10 or 20 calls a day to do, you can go in here and then you can put status. Yep. So say somebody's a no-show, they don't turn up, you click on no-show. Okay. That can be a trigger in the automation. Okay, so just like we did when the booking is confirmed, we could trigger when if Karen was a no-show, that I could trigger automation. So that automation could be as simple as soon as I move it to no-show, it sends an email saying, "Oh, we missed our call. You know, we all make mistakes. Would you like to rebook?" Yeah. And if they cancel it as well, so they can't if they go online and cancel the meeting, you can follow up with it appropriately. Maybe move the opportunity from discovery call booked to cancelled or no show, whatever you want to do. So you can do so much more. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then if you go to contacts, so when you're in the contact record, yeah, you can see all the appointments you've got here. So you go to appointments. So if I had an appointment booked, you see the appointment here, you can see the past history, etc. And you can also add an appointment here. So you could be on the phone to somebody. I do this quite a lot. You can be on the phone to a contact, click on here and add an appointment right here and now. There's a huge time saver for me, this, yeah. So what the type of appointment. It might be a quick client call, 15 minutes. You can choose the contact. Add any guests in there, yeah. It's already in a contact. By default, it's checking my calendar for availability. You see here, so on the April 28th, I've only got those times available. Yeah, if we go for Thursday, I've got those times available. Okay, you'll note, because it's checking my availability in the calendars, you'll note it won't take any bookings at the weekends, because obviously I don't work weekends generally, okay? But the beauty about here is we can override that. If I go to custom here, I could choose whatever day, whatever time, whatever location I wish. Yeah. So if I want to do a call, even though I don't by default allow it, if I want to do a call on where let me go to one. Yeah, on Saturday the 2nd of May, 1 a.m. in the morning, I could do that. Not that you ever would, of course, but you know what I mean. It gives you you've got the options to do that. It's the same for the location as well. My default location is Zoom. Okay, but if I was going to visit a local client, I could override that. Yeah.
So I could just ask, you said like you could book it at 2 a.m. if you're crazy enough, but does that get allowed because your working hours are different?
Yeah, I'm overriding everything. Yeah, I'm overriding everything.
But just by doing it that way, yeah.
Yeah. It's handy sometimes. You know, if you say you work 9 to 5 and then a client says I can only do 6 o'clock, if you just go up and you say, okay, on this occasion I'll do that, I'll override it. It's so handy. Yeah. And the same here for the meeting location. Normally I'll be on Zoom. But if it's local business down the road, I might say, okay, I'll come to your address. So the meeting location, then we put in their address in the location, which is quite neat sometimes. Yeah, and all this we're seeing here, you can do on the mobile app. Yep. So go into calendars on the mobile app, and it's really handy for that. So if I book that appointment here like that, yeah, that's booked there. It's just pinged me on the phone to say I've got a booking. Yeah. And then you can go in and manage that appointment. So if I go into this appointment now, what day did I book it for? 2nd of May, didn't I? So if I go to my calendar now, you see here I've got a booking for the 2nd of May at 1 a.m. in the morning now. Yep. The beauty about it is because as long as I'm in HighLevel here now, I can rearrange that. So say the client phones up and says, "Oh, can I rearrange it for 9 a.m. on the Saturday morning?" I can simply drag it here like that. If I click it properly. Yeah, I can drag it like that. And you can do this on the obviously in a different way, but you can do the same effect on the mobile app. Yeah, I've now moved it to 9 a.m. and that'll be reflected in my calendar immediately. And by moving it there, it will resend the confirmation email. Yep. So it'll automatically reset itself to the new day and time of the meeting. I think that's quite cool. Yeah. And you can do that on the mobile phone app. So they've always got the latest version of the meeting on their calendar. So if I go to my calendar now, you'll see I've now Saturday. I've now got one at you see there on Saturday. It's moved to there. That's on. This is looking at my Google Calendar now. Yeah, but what you can't do is I can't drag that there like that and move that. Well, let's try it anyway. So I just moved that on the Google Calendar. I don't think it reflects on here. So see here, it's not moved. So it's a one-way sync to your Google Calendar. You can't start rearranging appointments on your Google Calendar and expect it to come into here.
Try and refresh. I'm intrigued.
What's moved onto it? Oh, okay. So there's so I've learned a lesson now. So you can move it on the Google Calendar then, yeah. That's now synced here. Okay. There you go. You learn something every day yourself. I learn something every day. I'm going to test that later on to make sure the follow-up works properly after this, yeah. Okay, so that's the principles of the so we've now just so far we looked at the meetings, which is like Calendly, yeah. Very similar principles with the services, yeah. With services here, you can see what staff are available to deliver the service, the resources, and the add-ons, locations. So there's a bit more to it with the services, yeah. But you could take payments for services, and I think you can now do multiple service bookings at once and that. So if services are your thing, then it's a case of digging in then and seeing if it fits your use case. And similar to the rentals here. Yeah, so I've only been playing about with here bouncy castles with a client we had £100 a day. So obviously a rental would typically be like days or weeks, wouldn't it? Not a 15-minute call. So it accommodates that side of things. So all the services and the rentals, they're rapidly evolving. The new features, relatively new. Well, rentals is still in beta, so it's exciting times, yeah, for HighLevel.
So, Julian, quick question on the services. So, if a client has like an annual service, what's the best way of ensuring that comes up automatically and triggers a reminder?
Good question, because you could do it from the workflows, couldn't we? So when a service is booked, let me check. Hang on, if I go to
The thought that I had was if we had a custom field with the date the service is due,
yep.
and then would it be possible to have a workflow that picked up when that date came up, and that then triggered an email sequence with a booking link? Because although the service is due, say, on the 1st of May, they've then got to be invited, haven't they, to book a suitable time.
Yeah, let's just check that. Let's just check that. So what we've got here, Steve, so if you go to automation, click on create a workflow. So one way, like you say, you'd store that date as a custom field, yep.
Yeah.
Then you can have I think it's contact changed. Contact changed. Like so. And we can add filters. See here, so you go here, where is it? Custom fields.
Yeah.
So you might have a date there. We're trying to find a date one here. Yeah. So you might have it has changed. Okay. So anytime you change that date in that field, it's going to trigger this workflow.
Yeah, no, if the date's sitting there from, so say they've had the service done on Monday,
Yeah.
the staff member wants to put in the reminder for a year's time.
Yeah.
What's the best way of doing that? Presumably they change the date to next year.
Yeah, so as soon as they change the date to next year, that would then trigger the workflow. Yeah.
Yeah, but they want the reminder to go out in a year's time, not today.
Yeah, so you click on here, yeah, click on here, yes, click on here. You type in wait. Yeah, so that's a traditional sort of wait 2 days, wait a week, whatever, yeah. You click on here like this, then you can do it off, where is it? Event point time. Is that going to work? No. What I'd have to do here,
That would work.
I don't know. I have to set the. I have to set the.
Set the event first, and then
Yeah. So I had to set. So I click on here, Steve. What have event? Event set event start date. Yeah. And it's going to be a custom field. And then choose a custom field. So you got that custom field set up, and then go to custom values.
Yeah.
I'm just choosing anything here, for instance. The one I chose before was called, whichever date it was. I'm trying to find a date one. Anyway, if I find, that will do it. Yeah, so I find a date field, so that'll be your date field. So then I set the start date, so it now knows the date. If that date was restoring either today, the day you've delivered the service now, and you want to wait 12 months, yeah.
Yeah.
So it knows now the event, the date is set by this action, and I'll put wait here, pop in here, event appointment time, and I'd say after or before, after 12 months. Yeah. So if it had the service delivered today, you've updated that custom field, it will trigger here. It's then going to set the date as the service was delivered today. It's then going to wait 12 months and then send a reminder.
Okay.
Yeah, or you might do it. You might do it another way. You might say, you might be talking today. Say, oh, can we set our the next clean or whatever? And they say the 2nd of August, 2027. Yeah. Then we could then have here to 12 months or 2 months before that date. It sends them a reminder or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It depends which dates you want, how you want to do the dates.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. The thing is, they've got thousands of dates to import, which they've got on a spreadsheet. So I was thinking of importing those into into a custom field, and then just having a way that when that date appears, it triggers a workflow to say send a reminder,
Yeah.
2 weeks before or whatever.
Yeah, so if they've got a spreadsheet with all those dates in there, you want to import that data, either import them as new contacts or update the contacts.
Yeah.
You set up all your workflow before, and then you would import the data. As you import the data, you're updating that custom field.
Yeah.
Which would then trigger here and then set up the reminders.
Yeah.
But the way I would do it is I would just take a small section of data first and just test it before you do the main import.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah,
the main thing is it can be done, and it's obviously using this. I've never used this service thing before, so it's a bit of a new thing, really.
Yeah, I must admit I've not had any call to use a service feature yet. So
And I'm just wondering, with the service, because there's like 5 different engineers, do they each have to have a calendar?
They would do, yes, yeah. Um, well, I mean, ideally, do you mean like a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar, that sort of thing?
Well, a calendar that can check that they're available.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah, ideally, yeah, because otherwise you're just taking bookings blind. You're just taking booking for next Tuesday. Well, they might be off on holiday that day. You don't know, do you? So
yeah,
ideally, they want to have a Google Calendar where they're marking up as, again, I have on my calendar, and you look at mine here. Yeah, on my calendar here, I have protected time. The blue ones are it's protected time. So you see here, for today, I always block out a big chunk of time here so that no one can book any calls with me during these calls.
yeah,
Same in the afternoon, we're doing one in the afternoon now. So I block out time here. I see Friday from 4 o'clock, I block it out. So I don't end up with a load of calls at the end of Friday.
yeah,
That'd be holiday. That includes holiday time. If you look at, we've got a bank holiday coming up, haven't we? Yeah. So straight away, Christmas holidays, bank holidays, blocking it out as a protected time calendar.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's a conflict calendar. Yeah. So that no one can book any calls. So you don't have problems with people booking for bank holidays from America. If in America, they might be happy to book on the 4th.
yeah,
But I don't want to have to then go back and reschedule things. So much better just to block it out. And then anytime you're away, anything like that, block it out. And you never double book then.
yeah, yeah,
The only time I get in trouble is when I go off piste and manually decide to book someone in extra. And it comes back to haunt me.
yeah.
Any more questions, guys? Is it just the 3 of us left now? It's 4 of us left now, Atticus?
Yeah.
I've got no questions, but I've got an answer for the app thing we were talking about.
Oh, which was the app one? Sorry.
Yeah, you know the Zoom app that I was talking about to the lady.
Oh yes, yeah.
You get it in Marketplace apps. So you've got to go into billing, and at the bottom of that, it's got like a shopping cart, and below is you a button click that says go to Marketplace, and the Zoom app is in there. Because I got a couple of apps that sometimes they charge you. I found.
Yes, yeah. The apps, the apps, it's just like the App Store, isn't it? It gives you more and more
Yeah.
functionality. Some are free, some are not. So that concludes today's workshop on appointments and calendars in HighLevel. You'll see shortly a QR code appear. Please scan that to book onto the next workshop or to book a discovery call with us.